A Vort from the Rebbe on this week's Parshas Tzav. In the first pasuk of Parshas Tzav, Rashi explains that the pasuk teaches us, we know when you bring karbonos, in all the karbonos, there's fats that you have to bring on the mizbeach. You have to be makrev it. You have to sacrifice it on the altar on the mizbeach. And sometimes you didn't manage to put on the mizbeach during the day all the fats of all the karbonos of the day. So it comes to teach us that it's kosher the whole night. That means you could do it at night also. And the Gemara explains in Menachos that the main way to do it is that you should be maktir, sacrifice the fats on the mizbeach during the day. If you couldn't during the day, that's also during the night. But the main one that we stress is that it should be during the day. And the Rebbe explains this in Avodas Hashem Eruchnius. We know day represents light. The pasuk says, "Vayikra Elokim la'or yom." Hashem called the light day. What does that mean? Day represents when things are clear. You could see. You see the truth. You see what it is. When it's light, you could see everything with what it is. Night, which is dark, represents things that's not clear. At night, you can't see everything in truth, what it really is. So day represents when you see things truthfully, what the truth is, and night is when you don't see the truth of the things. Beruchnis, it means day represents, light represents Torah mitzvahs. Torah mitzvahs is the truth. That's where you see the truth, which is Hashem. And night represents when you're involved in the Gashmias things, which is not the truth. The truth is there. It's also from Hashem, but you don't see it. The truth is not there. Begilui, it's not there revealed. Fats represents pleasure. We know from different places from the Gemara, we know that fat represents pleasure. That's why a person that says gets fat from pleasure more than from food that he eats, etc., etc. It's the pleasure that he has. So fats represents pleasure. And what these two things are, there is the fats that you have to bring on the mizbeach. There's during the day, and there's the fats that you bring at night. The fats that you bring at night means that when you're involved in things which are night, which are gashmisdike things, and you have pleasure in it, you should really have the pleasure on the mizbeach, which means the pleasure that you have in the physical things that you do has to be connected to the mizbeach. It has to be connected to Hashem. The pleasure that you have from eating should be the pleasure that you're able to serve Hashem through eating and doing these gashmas things that you do. The pleasure that we're talking about, the fat that you're makriv during the day, that represents the pleasure of Torah mitzvahs. That when you learn Torah and you do mitzvahs, you have pleasure. But even that has to be on the mizbeach, because a person is able to have pleasure from Torah mitzvahs, but it's personal. He enjoys it. That's very good. Halavai, every yid should enjoy it. But nevertheless, there's a lot of his own ego that's involved, his own being that's involved. But when you're makter on the mizbeach, it means that you feel that even the pleasure that you have in Torah mitzvahs, it's all because Hashem wants you to have that pleasure. So it's Hashem. So these are the two things, the fats that you're able to be makriv on the mizbeach during the day and at night. At night means it's a pleasure that you have in the gashmisdike things has to go on the mizbeach, and the pleasure that you have in the ruchnisdike things also has to be connected to the mizbeach. And the Gemara said, as I said in the beginning, that the main thing is that the pleasure of the day, that means that the chaylev, the fats of the korbanos should be brought during the day. That's the main thing, meaning that's a higher madrege. That your gashmias, the pleasure you have in gashmias should be connected to the mizbeach is obvious. That's what you have to do. Otherwise, you're not serving Hashem. The chidush is, the main thing is to reach a higher madrege, that even the pleasure you have in ruchnias, which seems to be something good, nevertheless, even that has to be connected to the mizbeach. You have to give up your pleasure to the mizbeach, it should be consumed by the Eibishter. It means even that pleasure should be a pleasure that you have because Hashem told you to do the Torah mitzvahs, and Hashem wants you to have pleasure. So the pleasure really is not yours, but it's the pleasure of Hashem.